Welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you, Mr. Edmon Brathwaite, who's the founder of A Toast of Brooklyn Wine and Food Festival. He'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. Like I said, I have a very special guest. I've got the founder, this right here, A Toast of Brooklyn Wine and Food Festival, Mr. Edmon Brathwaite, longtime friend and colleague of mine from, we go way, way back from the days of One Caribbean Radio. Okay, so if you do remember listening here in Brooklyn, definitely this is the brainchild behind it. But now he's got another new vision. He's been doing, it's not quite new, it's actually about to be 10 years. Toast of Brooklyn. Let's talk about it. It's going to be celebrating a decade long right here in Brooklyn.
Yes, Lydia, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
And giving me the opportunity to speak on an event that began in 2007. And it's just endured or stood the test of time to where it is now. It's 10th anniversary, and we're looking to be bigger and even better as time goes on. So thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. So for those who don't know, let's talk about what is A Toast of Brooklyn.
The Toast of Brooklyn is an event, again, that began in 2007, and it came about because being in the wine and spirits industry, what I found was every time I got invited to an event, I was the only person of color at the event. And whether I go to the country clubs or wherever I was, was invited, and I look around, I felt that there was something missing. I felt that for the billions that our community spend in the industry, I feel that there should be some type of reciprocity, right? So I challenged the big boys. I challenged the Diageos of the world, the Mort Hennessy's of the world, the Bacardis of the world, to come into our community, right, into the Bedford-Stuyvesant and the Crown Heights communities, and host events, right, upscale wine events and stuff. And to my great surprise, I didn't meet with much resistance. They were enthused when I asked. They're like, you know what? When do you want us to do it? You plan it and let us and we'll support. So I came back to Bed-Stuy and I looked around and I did the first event at the Carver Federal Savings Bank.
Yes.
I know the chairman of the bank at the time, Ms. Deborah Wright, was a bit apprehensive in terms of doing a wine and liquor event in the bank. And but we convinced her one way or another, and then she acquiesced and she allowed us to host the event in the bank. And that was the beginning of this. I must admit, not from me saying it, but it was truly a spectacular event. Our community came out in full support. We were the cream of the crop, and honestly, even those big suppliers, the billion-dollar companies, were incredibly impressed by what they saw from our community and stuff. So from that first event, it has allowed us to grow to where it is now. We're going through our 10th anniversary, and this year is expected to be the biggest. With vineyards from France, from Spain, from Portugal, Argentina, even local wineries from Brooklyn, and spirits companies from Brooklyn. So it's a lot of stuff now that we've got to put together. So it's a challenge, but I think it's well worth it.
Of course, and now you've gotten to the point that actually food is also included in that. So you're going to be incorporating, we actually have one of the chefs who will be here, so we'll have him in another segment. But deciding to see it grow actually just from being the wines, and you had a good selection. We opened the doors with a lot that first year, but every year it's gotten bigger and bigger to the point now it's also a little bit of a food festival. So when you come out, you're not just getting wines, we're pairing it with real
correct.
Gourmet and culinary expertise.
You're absolutely correct. And in essence, it serves two purposes. it gives the attendees the opportunity to understand that if you are interested in drinking this wine, well, this is a great food to pair it with, or vice versa, right? It was a tremendous education for our community. And what it also does, especially the event, you certainly don't want to have folks walking around sampling just wines and spirits without something else, because it would
Of
be,
course.
stuff. But it definitely has grown to where we're now including, the culinary arts, so to speak, with it. And I'm so happy that we've made that transition, because it exposes us as a Caribbean person. We're big when it comes to our culture and our food and stuff. So to be able to pair some of the food with the wines and stuff, I think it's a significant advantage for us.
And what's great that actually this is not a Caribbean event. Actually, this
No,
is
no,
open
no.
to, this is pretty much you're tasting wines from all over.
All over the world, yes, yes. And as a matter of fact, the last event we had, I was actually stunned by the attendance, where in the past, let's say, it began where our audience, it was primarily for the audience in Bed-Stuy, but it's grown beyond Bed-Stuy now for Toast of Brooklyn, where 60 to 70% of the attendees are actually coming from outside, right, Bed-Stuy, and it's a tremendous mix of everybody, right, black, everybody. It's really an event that has grown, and I do believe it's an event that can represent the way Brooklyn is prospering and the type of integration that's necessary in our community in order for us all to prosper.
Absolutely. And of course, the big event is September 16th. That's a Saturday.
Yes, it is.
So give us the details where you can get tickets, coming out, all that good stuff.
Yes, tickets are available. You can get it on the website at thetoastofbrooklyn.com, or you can also come to Nostrand Wines, located on Nostrand Avenue, 549 Nostrand Avenue, and you can get tickets at the store. This year, we've added a bit of a twist to it, where we're going to add a VIP section, and the VIP section will include fashion, which from somebody who you know very well, from Sonia, right?
Sonia
She's kind of fought and to get us to incorporate. And I think it will be a huge addition to that VIP section. We're also going to have some of the most expensive aged, right, spirits, like the scotches, the 25-year-old scotches, some of the high-end champagnes, the $300-400 bottle champagnes. We're going to have that as a part of the VIP section, as well as an art display, right?
Really?
In the VIP section, yes. We're going to one time before we actually had a cigar bar, but I don't think this year it kind of, especially seeing that the environment is going to be enclosed, it may not be the smartest thing to do that, so we kind of put that to the side. But yeah, you can get tickets at toastofbrooklyn.com, or you can come to the store and purchase tickets for us.
Or of course, just show up to the event. If a Saturday afternoon you want to come out, you want to be able to do that, that's going to be awesome. Well, Edmon, thank you so much. We're going to come back in another segment with the chef. We have Vlad.
Yep.
He's going to be with us. You're actually going to get to see him on site as well if you come out. So stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. Like I said, I was going to have the chef himself, one of the main chefs of the event, Mr. Vlad LeBrun, who's here with us. Of course, we've got the founder, but now it's time to have some chef time.
Let's do this.
We talked about the wine and spirits, but we got to get into the food, because everybody loves food. And I think, when you have a good glass of wine, you want to pair it with a great meal. And actually, something I've noticed is a lot of great restaurants now, they'll do pairing suggestions. I'm seeing that more and more. So it's kind of cool, because, you want to, if you're eating a fish, like I don't eat meat, but you know, a lot of the fish options would have
complement it with a little something.
a
right?
little something. So
Right.
tell us about your whole involvement and what your role is going to be on the 16th.
Well, for the 16th, I decided I'm going to do a cooking demonstration, something that I actually did on the Food Network,
Right.
where I was appeared on a show called Cooks vs. Cons. It was a Thanksgiving special. So on that show, I did a dish called a curry crab cake with a Scotch bonnet aioli and a mango chutney on top. And I paired it with a nice chilled white wine, preferably maybe a Sauvignon Blanc. I think being able to introduce the audience and the crowd into something that I did onto the show and see where it came from, because I have Caribbean background. My parents are Haitian. So in that type of culture, I'm sure we all have cultural backgrounds here, but as you know, cooking was very imperative in our family.
Of course.
All our social gatherings was kind of correlated with food. So I kind of want to introduce the audience into what my lifestyle was like. So I think on that plate, you'll get to see what I'm talking about.
And it's great because that's kind of like a fusion, because curry crab,
Yeah.
that's a big Trinidadian, Guyanese thing. They'll do the curry crab, but I've never had a curry crab cake.
That's not, you're going to see. It's
So that's
phenomenal.
like, that
That's
is
phenomenal.
I'm looking forward to it.
really, when you think about
Right.
it, it's always curry crab and dumplings. That's a traditional dish. You'll have it with some dumplings, but to make a curry crab cake, that's like that fusion of like the southern
Yes.
Caribbean
Yes.
influence,
I want to
little
bring
Indian
it all
influence.
in together, right? I have Indian, I have Caribbean, I got Trinidadian influences into it. I mean, basically introducing what Brooklyn would be like on the plate. It's a melting pot of a lot of
Absolutely.
nationalities, and I kind of want to bring that together with my French, technically French classique. I was, I graduated from the Cordon Bleu College of Culinary Arts in Boston. Shout out to my students
Boston
and my
family.
chef. I'll at your boy. But yeah, so I was trained with the French classical technique. So I wanted to introduce Brooklyn, but bring it with a little twist, add a
Of
little
course.
flair to it.
Of course, and now we're going to have, in total, how many different wines would you say really will be on display that day?
50, about 6. Yeah, somewhere between 300 to 500 different wines.
So when you hear something like that, Vlad,
Right.
knowing that there's going to be so many different countries, a lot of European countries, but we're going to have
Yes.
California wines, we're
Yep.
going to have American, you're going to have European, Argentina, some of your classics. Mentally, how would you as a chef start to prepare from the food standpoint now to have something available to batch all these things?
Well, first I will get a flask. Once
Okay.
I get a flask, I'll get a couple of his bottles and put them in the bag.
That's how
Ain't
you
no problem with that.
Definitely
Okay.
one way
Well,
I'm
he's
going
the
to
man for
prepare
it.
myself. But I usually I play a lot around with my ingredients. My first and foremost thing is my protein, what I'm going to be cooking. I follow that through with how I'm going to display my plate, presented on the plate. Then, of course, I know with my protein, certain proteins, they pair up with certain wines. You can't, it's sort of like a law to it.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be sacrilegious if you had a red wine with a red meat with a white wine.
Right.
I kind of cringe there. But what I usually do is when I'm preparing my food for my clients or anybody else, I kind of suggest what I think would be the best wine for the meal that's at plate. And they usually go for it, and they're pretty much appreciative with that. You're having 300 so more wines. I'm definitely going to want to kind of play around and see. I may be able to feature one of the wines with my cooking demonstration, kind of play it all together. But I'm awesome. I can't wait to see how it's going to go. I can't
That
wait.
is great. How do you feel to actually have been selected as to be able to be a part of this for the 10-year anniversary?
I'm telling you right now, this very moment is very surreal. A lot of my close friends and family know my life. I never really pictured that I'd be this far, but I guess I can be a testimony to those people who have probably lived a rough life and probably thought that they never can make it, that if you just have 1 ounce of faith in yourself and say that you can do it, you actually will. You just got to push yourself to it. So with that being said, I'm very honored and privileged. Sharon is a good friend of mine, so I felt like it was a no-brainer trying to, coming on board. And one thing I'm very emphatic about is us as a community, black community, we need to show our next generation that we can do this together. We have awesome ideas, we have awesome people. There's no reason why we can't put it together and kind of just display that to everybody. This is our neighborhood, this is our home, so we got to kind of, let's show people how much we love it.
Yep.
I'm all for it.
That's amazing. And of course, don't forget us September 16th. You can come out and you could have a great demonstration. I know you're not going to give us all the secrets today, but definitely you have to come out.
For a little bit of change.
I know. But they'll come out, they'll have a good time. They're gonna
Yes.
taste